You are driving to work, the warm, golden sunlight of the morning streaming through your window, everything unfolding as usual. Looking up at the clear blue sky, you wonder what would happen if the most fundamental law of the universe were suddenly bent. Have you ever imagined a world where the ground is no longer a foundation, and everything is pushed endlessly upward? What if, for just 60 brief seconds, gravity completely reversed across the Earth? That terrifying event would not just be a nightmare, but a true test of our planet's physical limits. Let's explore those 60 horrifying seconds as humanity faces a constant upward force. You are sitting in the office, scrolling through your computer screen with typical morning boredom. Exactly at 8:30 a.m., a strange and powerful tremor suddenly penetrates the floor, not an earthquake, but a forceful push. Your body, the chair, and every unsecured object are ripped from the ground at that 0-second moment. Initially, it's a violent collision with the concrete ceiling, an immediate and painful shock that leaves you stunned. Panic sets in as your eyes realize the ceiling has become the new ground, but only for an instant. Windows shatter, blinding sunlight floods in, and you feel your body being pulled out of the building with an irresistible acceleration. The initial velocity is just a jump, but after 10 seconds, you have reached a speed of over 98 meters per second. Beneath you, debris, vehicles, and thousands of people are forming a chaotic flood streaming toward the sky. It is a picture of reverse destruction, where the stability of all matter is utterly denied. You are not falling down, you are being pushed up, and the air begins to thin out frighteningly. The deepest fear comes not from the collision, but from the realization of absolute loneliness in the empty space above. After 15 seconds, you can see the entire city being torn away from the Earth's surface. Airplanes already flying become meaningless, pushed up at the same speed, turning into inanimate objects within the vortex of matter. This is where science and the madness of the cosmos collide, turning the laws of physics into a weapon against life itself. You are experiencing weightlessness, but it is not freedom. It is an expulsion from your own planet. The 30-second mark passes, and you have broken through the troposphere, hurtling toward open space. Your velocity and that of every other object has reached about 294 meters per second, creating horrific friction with the remaining air. The oceans roar as billions of tons of water are ripped from the Earth's crust, forming colossal columns heading outward. These walls of water rapidly transform into ice crystals and vapor due to the freezing temperatures of the upper atmosphere layers. The collapse of the atmosphere is the worst part, as oxygen and nitrogen are sucked upward, drastically reducing atmospheric pressure. You feel a painful ringing in your eardrums, and your blood vessels are close to bursting due to the massive pressure differential. This is not just an ascent, but a physical disintegration of the entire biosphere. Deep below, the Earth's crust is exposed. Where the ocean once covered is now just a dry, cold, colossal scar. In 60 seconds, Earth is stripped of its protective skin, revealing geological secrets never before seen. You are merely a particle in this immense cosmic storm of matter, helplessly gazing at the other planets in the solar system. The silence of space replaces the screams, leaving only the sound of the wind rushing past your stretched body. This is a cosmic flood, where everything from trees and buildings to animals is being expelled outwards. You try to curl up, grasping for anything remaining, but there is only nothingness. The sunlight now feels cold and sharp, lacking the warmth filtered by the atmosphere. Closing your eyes, you sense the accelerating speed, approaching the 588 meters per second mark, a velocity not meant for life. You know that if gravity does not return, you and all this matter will never come back. Life has been redefined in 60 terrifying seconds, transforming from stability into endless, aimless motion. At precisely the 60th second, the familiar force of gravity abruptly returns, but it is not a rescue, it is a second shock. The upward acceleration is canceled, and now you are falling back from an altitude of tens of kilometers at an enormous velocity. There is no friction left that can slow down the 588 meters per second velocity, pulling you back towards Earth. All the matter previously pushed up, from cars and buildings to billions of tons of water, now becomes destructive meteors. The world is not only stripped bare but also bombarded by its own matter. You miraculously survive the terrifying fall, but the world has been permanently altered. Billions of people have been sucked out of the atmosphere or annihilated by collisions and lack of oxygen. The disappearance of a large portion of the air and oceans has caused irreversible climate change. The colossal scars on the Earth's crust from the drained seawater are a testament to those 60 horrifying seconds. You look up at the sky, now not blue but deep violet, where the air has become too thin. Gravity does not just hold us down, it is also a protective shield, preventing us from drifting aimlessly. This event is a stark reminder that everything we take for granted relies on an incredibly fragile physical balance. You realize that the stability of all matter is not boring, but a miracle. That moment taught humanity the value of a small but indispensable pulling force. Survival is not a victory, but the beginning of a new world, utterly empty and different. You are the witness to the moment when the law of nature betrayed itself. The 60-second moment of reversed gravity has ended, but the philosophical lesson it leaves behind is eternal. You realize that gravity is not just a physical force, but the foundation of every connection and order on Earth. Without gravity, we have no up or down, no oceans, and no protective atmosphere. Gravity is a great sculptor, shaping our world over billions of years, as one physicist once remarked. This event teaches us a cold truth. Stability is a privilege, not an inherent right. Most of humanity only remembers the final moments of existence before being sucked into the infinite void. The new world is a place of profound loss, where the sky is a constant reminder of life's fragility. The disappearance of matter has left a void that cannot be filled, both geographically and spiritually. Just as the philosopher Martin Heidegger mused about existence, we are thrown into this world, and gravity is what anchors us. Order returns, but the price is a chaos that will endure forever after. Cherish every moment your feet still touch the ground and you breathe this safe air. What if, one day, you were forced to redefine the meaning of stability and freedom? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the boundaries of science and imagination. Comment below and let me know, in those 60 seconds, what is the very last thing you would do?